Hello everyone, welcome back to another informative video. In this video, we are going to talk about greenhouse. Specifically, how much it costs to build a greenhouse. Now, in discussing this topic, we have to understand that the cost to build a greenhouse varies. Now, I'm going to play a clip, and this is a clip from Mr. Cosgrave Campbell. He's from Jamaica. He's a very prominent um, greenhouse farmer in Jamaica. He has both round stick and treated lumber greenhouses in Jamaica, and he's doing really well. And he also builds greenhouses, deals with irrigation system and so on. So I'm going to play a clip from him, basically telling you the cost of a treated lumber greenhouse and a round stick greenhouse, right? So here's the clip.
All right, Mario. Yeah, man. The treated lumber for everything, plastic, the mesh, the hose, everything. It costs $1.5 million. All right, and for the stick where you cut in the hill, it costs $800,000. Labor and everything, because the hardest thing in it, the most expensive thing in the stick where you cut a bush is just the mesh, the plastic, and the woods. Yeah, man, that are the most expensive part. And labor costs everything in one. 800,000. 800,000 you look for to build a 140 greenhouse in length. All right, my brother. You take care, man. Good.
Now, as you can see, treated lumber greenhouse is um is roughly about 1.5 million, and the round stick greenhouse is roughly about 800,000. So and these prices are inclusive of labor and basically everything that you need to get a functional greenhouse, right? But as it relates to the galvanized metal greenhouse, that will run like, say for example, and the prices that are being quoted, those are for like a 140 by 18 greenhouse, right? You could work out. I'll put up the square footage on the screen, right? So it's 140 by 18 for the round stick and the treated lumber. And for say for example, for if you're going to build a 3,000 square feet metal greenhouse, right? That is like 100 by 30 feet, and 100 in length by 30 feet in width. You find that that one going to run you close to like 2.5 to $3 million, somewhere there about, because it is galvanized metal. Metal is much more expensive. And then now you have to decide what you want your metal greenhouse to have. So obviously, if you want a complete greenhouse, they're going to, with the metal greenhouse, they're going to basically offer to you the horizontal airflow fans for your movement. They might even put in a few extractor fans in it, right, to pull out hot air. You're going to get the antiviral netting for the side. You're going to get the greenhouse plastic. You might get an injector system. You're going to get the whole plumbing of your irrigation system, right? You might get a timer, an irrigation system. So all of those components to give you better control can be added to your um, galvanized metal greenhouse, which, as I said, I'm just giving you a rough estimate. So, we have very low cost greenhouse that are very more like on the passive side, not really too sophisticated. But then now you have the more sophisticated technological um, greenhouses that use a lot of automated systems and so on. Obviously, those will cost much more, right? So on a more basic level, you find that your cost will begin to go up when you decide on the type of material the material that you'll use to build the greenhouse. So for example, um a treated lumber greenhouse will be less expensive than a galvanized metal greenhouse, right? uh uh Round stick greenhouse, that round stick, when you hear me referring to round stick, I'm talking about stick that you go in the woods and just cut and build the greenhouse. Round stick greenhouse is obviously much cheaper than the treated lumber and the galvanized metal. So now, however, when you go inside the greenhouse now, you find that the fixtures that you put in the greenhouse to deal with bringing water to your plants and whatever control systems you have, there when you go into that category, you find that your cost can also go up. So, for example, we are talking about things like controlling humidity, controlling the temperature, controlling the vent system, introducing CO2, injector systems, these kind of things. These additional are not additional. How far you are willing to go with your greenhouse in terms of automation and like the amount of information that you want to gather and the amount of control that you want to have, that will determine your the add to your costing as well and increase your costing. Now, of course, in the Caribbean we have sophisticated greenhouses and we also have very low cost greenhouse, right? So for example, we have a lot of greenhouses in Jamaica that are built from round stick, right? And remember, round stick is what I refer to when you go to the bush and you just cut some stick and build a greenhouse. Now, those are very low cost, right? But remember, as I said, what you put inside your greenhouse to monitor your crop now, or to ensure that you have proper crop growth and development, that can also increase your costs, whether you are in a round stick greenhouse, a treated lumber greenhouse, or a galvanized metal greenhouse, right? Now, uh, I would say the most simple structure or greenhouse, a complete greenhouse that you can have is basically using the round stick and um, putting the mesh on the side, putting the greenhouse plastic on the top, putting in your drip hose and plumb some hose to a tank on the hillside, and then gravity feed the water to your plants. That is more like the basic package, right? And that now will be inclusive of labor. You have to add labor to your cost, right? For land clearance and all of that. So and then of course going to treated lumber now, the treated lumber is much more expensive, and the same narrative applies as it relates to um how control you want your treated lumber greenhouse to be. That will obviously influence your cost, right? And then with the galvanized metal now, you find that persons who build metal greenhouses, they tend to put more systems in their greenhouse to whether to control temperature, to control humidity, CO2 levels, um, and more sophisticated nutrition regime in terms of sending nutrients to the plants. So for example, you'll find that they'll have automated injectors, um, uh, and different monitors, ppm, ec, pH monitors, and you find that a lot of things are more automated, right? With persons building like metal. But as I said, not because you have a round stick or treated lumber greenhouse, that should not stop you from putting in a lot of control systems, right? But as I said, based on the amount of control systems that you are going to put in, that can also increase your cost, right? So, if you want to start off low cost, like building a round stick greenhouse or a treated lumber greenhouse, and then building off and then save your money and then do your metal greenhouse, that is totally fine. That is a good method, right? One of the only drawback is that the metal greenhouse is much more stronger, right? um against like heavy winds like tropical storms, whatever, right? But I've seen where round stick greenhouse lasts for like 8 years. I've seen that in Jamaica, and treated lumber greenhouse running for like over 10 years, right? So it can give you these lumber options can give you a very long time in terms of production time for you to make a lot of money, right? Once you have good market, so that you could save and build a 6,000 square feet um, metal greenhouse, right? So um, yeah, that is basically the costing. And what you can do too is you can check the companies in Jamaica if you want to get metal coatings, right? You can check companies like Jamaica Drip, right? You can check Mr. Jervis Rowe. I'll put up his number on the screen as well. Mr. Jervis Rowe also designs and build greenhouses, so he can give you a good quote as to the size you want and the fixtures that you want with it, right? And Jamaica Drip Isratech, they are located in Manchester. They basically have the greenhouses, greenhouse structure as well. They have the plastic, they have the mesh, and so on. Evergrow also has plastic mesh. They have the fertilizer, these kind of things. So we have a good commercial system in Jamaica in terms of where you could get material for your greenhouse and greenhouses themselves. But just like many farmers in Jamaica, um, a lot of round stick greenhouses in Jamaica, and they're doing well, right? They might not be as sophisticated as you will see other greenhouses in other countries. Obviously, in a country like US, you won't find certain greenhouses, right? Because they are so technological and sophisticated, they control everything. So you will more find um, a lot of control there. So and then if you want to see first on what I'm talking about, you can visit a lot of greenhouses. There are a lot of greenhouse clusters in Senton, right up in the backside area, or like for example up in Alexandra. So to be specific, you have a greenhouse cluster in Tubalski, you have one in Wattown, you have one in 9 Mile, you have one somewhere there in Manig, I think you have one in Manchester, and these are all managed under the project that JCIF JBI Noranda did, and these are all treated lumber greenhouse. So if you want to see a cluster facility that has a packaging house, bathroom, the greenhouses, water pond that hold a couple million gallons of water, and just to see a overall um, greenhouse cluster system and how it is managed with a farmer group, with their whole executive body system and all these kind of things. You can visit those greenhouse clusters. All you have to do is just go up into Alexandria here and ask people, Alexandra, Senton, right? Ask people where the greenhouse clusters are, and they'll tell you because they are quite popular and they are doing well. And Senton happened to be one of those parish that has a lot of square footage of greenhouse, treated lumber and metal. There's also another greenhouse cluster in Manig, Walker's Wood, that is a very popular one with Mr. Wigan Garden. There's a very lovely greenhouse cluster there that you can also check out. They have both lumber and treated lumber and round stick and metal. So they have the full complement of um structures. So yeah, I mean, you can take the opportunity to visit these places to have an idea before you start what you want to do. But I hope I have furnished you with some idea, so on. So I think there's a lot more that I can say as it relates to greenhouse farming in Jamaica and the Caribbean, and generally wherever in the world, right? Greenhouse is something that is developing well in the Caribbean, um, and I think that it is a technology that needs to be explored on a more technological level in the Caribbean, right? We understand that a lot of farmers will build low cost greenhouse, but after building low cost greenhouse, we want to also see them stepping up a notch, putting in more automation, adding more technology to what they already know, right? In order to keep progressing. But if you have any questions, any comments, please put them in the comments area. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. See you.